Hello racing fans, and a warm welcome to our Gallop TV preview show for this Tuesday the 16th, where we race at the Vaal, and I trust that you well, and hopefully you had a good start if you played Hollywoodbets Greyville on the Monday. And let's get straight into it with race number 1. But Alistair, you're our analyst up in Gauteng. How's your form been? How was the weekend's racing? There were some odd results there, weren't there?
Yeah, there were, Dees. Hello to everyone, to all the viewers. And another week is now obviously started. And this Tuesday card at the Vaal looks quite trappy, but maybe there's a few bits of gold that we can find on this card. But yeah, with regard to the weekend, I thoroughly enjoyed the coverage of the WSB 1900 at Hollywoodbets Greyville on Saturday. I thought Pakaya's win was out the top draw. It'll be interesting to see how the handicappers assess that race, because obviously the 1900 doesn't give you a golden ticket to the Hollywoodbets Durbanville. It gives you preferential status. But, when you look at the, 48 names that stand their ground at the moment, it's hard to compile a list of 18 that are absolutely nailed on. So I'm sure Pakaya would have done enough. It'll be interesting to see if he has another run. But yeah, all in all, good weekend. As for the form, it's been up and down. We ended April with a bang. We started May with a bang. It's kind of flattened out, but yeah, this card, I think the exotics are going to pay nicely. So hopefully I'm on the right side of them.
I think the best way to start off the show is to remind our racing fans out there about the Hollywoodbets Punters Challenge competition. Of course, Hollywoodbets, firmly part of Gallop TV, and we congratulate Zai97 on a superb performance on Sunday. Wow. Picking 8 out of 8 and getting the cash, 720,000 Rand. Unfortunate, I'll say unfortunate in a very small way, that he did not pay the 50 Rand on the bet slip. It is free to enter, as we know, but the bonus for the all or nothing and the daily prize is that if you play a minimum of 50 Rand on that bet slip, you are going to get the all or nothing and the daily prize doubled. So, well done to Zai97. Race number 1, 12:25 over 1,200 meters. A lot of first-timers here. And let's go into the betting, the horses that are in the fixed odds betting market. And we'll begin with horse number 1 at 8-1. Number 3 is at 2-1. Number 4 is at 6-1. And then number 5, Real Relief. That is a 2-1 shot. I think first up, any of these first-timers can grab your attention?
Yeah, D's number 1 and Action does. And Scarlet Pimpernel probably wants a bit further, but certainly on breeding he does. Likewise, number 10, Thomas Rainwater. I think both of those do need a bit further. The scratching on number 8, Storm Ahead, needs to be noted as well. So, I think the form will pretty much stand here. I think number 5, Real Relief, is the one they need to beat. He was all the rage, all the talk on debut, and he was horribly green going down to the start, and he wasn't much better in running, but he was beaten by a filly who he gave weight to, who subsequently won in the form of Rose Tinted. I think that run will do a lot of good for number 5, Real Relief, and I think that he will arrive in race number 1. Number 3, Hawkbill. I've spoken to Lucky Hudalakis about him. He shows zero at work, as you can tell on debut. He drifted in the market and ran a good third behind a nice horse in the form of Guy Gibson, and second up again, no interest in the market, and stayed on strongly behind Jerusalem Rain. So he hints that he'll be a racehorse when he goes over further. He's obviously just developing and getting the hang of things. He'll probably, just the way that I read it, be doing his best work at the end again, and probably just falling short of number 5, Real Relief. So that's how I read it. I'd be in an open card. I think we've got to go lights in certain places. So where you can go lights at number 5, Real Relief, for me as a bipod banker, I'll be shocked and disappointed if he doesn't make the first 2. If there is money for any first timers, I'd seriously respect that.
Yeah, I think there's some confidence there from Alistair, number 5, Real Relief. Yeah, I was hoping the next time I see Hawkbill, it will be over 7 furlongs or maybe even a bit further, because he was making up the ground last time out behind the strongly fancied Ashley Fortune runner, Jerusalem Lane. So that could be the backup if you are not in the camp of number 5, Real Relief. Then onto the place accumulator, 1,300 hours, 1 o'clock. You need to get your bets on by. It's over 1,200 meters. This is a maiden juvenile plate for fillies. And let's have a look at how they're betting. Number 3, Dakota Cat, is at 7-1. So is number 4 at 7-1. Then we go on to 11, Phantom Express, at 8-1. And then we got this 28 to 10 shot here, which is from the Brett Crawford stable. And let's see if Alistair likes this individual as much as he likes the horse in the first race from the yard. Could it be a very quick start for the stable to get running races 1 and 2?
It's not impossible, Dees, but this is very tricky. This is wide open. There's a lot of good form to work with. There's some appealing first-timers. There's a very important update for number 5, Ivy League, who ran at the Vaal on Thursday. Go watch that rerun because she took off. She flew. She must have been the best finisher in the race, so it'll be interesting to see if she backs up just 5 days later. It wouldn't be impossible that Bar and Burtis does. So just take note of that form update. Number 8, Lady Fallon, by the way, is a half-sister to the Syringa handicap winner on Sunday in the form of Tipsy Tarragon. But yeah, and also number 13, Silver Hunt, another first-timer who catches the eye. She might need a little bit further, just looking at the genetics of her, but Keegan DeMello rides for Mike de Kock, so respect her. And number 1, Alicia's Love, another well-bred first-timer. So there's no shortage of appealing pedigrees in race 2. I'm having a tough time narrowing this race down, D's. At a push, my first race, number 16, Wagug, which obviously spells out when you're good, you're good. Beaten by Divine Moonlight, who maintain the form out of the Call Me When You Need Me start. So I think that they both sort of improved at the same rate. Drawn towards the inside down the straight of the Vaal, I wouldn't say is ideal, but I think that she's got enough in her and enough experience now to get where she needs to under Cabello Mazzaniani. So at a push, number 16, Wagug, is my top choice, but I have respect for a few here. I think number 2, Colorado Creek, the stable companion, will improve. Maybe not improve enough to win, but respect for top 4. 3, Dakota Cat, 4, Dolcezza, and 11, Phantom Express, for me, comes out of one of the strongest juvenile form lines on the half out behind Red Bomber. I'd rather look at her first start than her second start, even though her second start will ultimately, in my opinion, turn out to be one that she's not disgraced in. I think the first start is probably more a fair reflection of sort of where she is. So, yeah, lots in with chances. Go as wide as you can, because I think all in all, there's about half the field who could win it, and I think this will be a form line to follow. I think there'll be winners left, right, and centre coming out of it.
Yeah, it's a big field, competitive. While there is form amongst the race runners, this horse, I just got the betting update, Hollywoodbets. I just got that off my device. Number 8, Lady Fallon, has found some betting support the first timer from 14 to 1 into 10 to 1. So hopefully you can go through there with the minimum spend. I think that will be an absolute bonus there in race number 2. And Alistair's, he's already answered my question with regards to draws, especially down the straight. Race number 3, 1,700 meters. Now, let's see how they're betting here, Alistair, because this is the start of the all-important pick 6. Number 1, from 13 to 2, some support into 6 to 1. Number 2, 7 to 1. Number 3 at 2 to 1. 4, Donny, love the name when you look at the dam, 8 to 1. And then number 6 is 7 to 2. 7, William Iron Arm, that is at 5 to 2. Yeah, first thing is that these are young 2-year-olds trying the extra distance of 1,750 meters. Some of them you can possibly try and match stamina with pedigree and hope to get it right. But you're rolling the dice here, Alistair, with most of them, but there is some form to work around.
Number 3, Brenheisen, is working very, very nicely. His debut was always going to be too short for him. He ran 3rd to Red Bomber. He ran just behind the second place horse. He's come on a lot at home. At 2 to 1, I'm surprised that he's that short, because I think it's an open race. But I have to be confident with what I've been told and what I know. So number 3, Brenheisen, would be my first selection. I'm very interested in this horse, number 1, Ampersand, who runs like the extra distance will suit. He jumps and trip as well. I think that he'll put himself nasty and go quite close, especially from an inside draw as they go around the turn. First time for both these horses to go around the turn. So number 1, Ampersand, will have some sort of advantage. I'm interested to see how the Sandringham Summit form works out, because he's held in high regard, as is the second horse, Barbaresco. So this will be a good hint how that all is going to work out. And I have a little bit of time for number 2, Battle of Curse. I think this run might sort of be one before he really gets into the picture. But I saw enough from him on debut behind Bom Bom to suggest that there's something there. And he, of course, is a bit more hard distance-wise, having been a mile last time out. So I think that he's going to run a little bit better than many would expect, number 2, Battle of Curse. But 3, Brenneisen, yeah, if you like him, I can't put you off. Just while we talk about Donny and Chennai Babe, are you a Chennai Super Kings man, Dees?
No, you know what? When it first started, obviously, you know, with all the stars that they had in that team, I followed them. But during the course, I've actually changed, and you know what? It's amazing. I'm glad you asked this question. Because, you know, while you enjoy watching a team because of the players that they have and, you know, the entertainment that they provide, I somehow feel in T20, when I watch games, I tend to back the underdog every time. Not gambling-wise, just rooting for them each time, because I like to see the guys chasing down these scores, even though sometimes I think it's impossible. So I just enjoy the entertainment side of it, Alistair. But if you have to ask me, you know, who's my team, you know, I would think it would always be where De Villiers was. So it will always be Bangalore, you know. I mean, he was just an absolute superstar in that game. But I don't know if you watch much, Alistair. I know that you're a red ball fan more than you know, even I don't even know what ball you call it, a T20. Do you call it a white ball?
Yeah, white ball. I'm definitely more of a purist when it comes to cricket. I do prefer my test cricket, but don't get me wrong, I watch as much RPL. Well, you know, I'm just a sports mad guy anyway. It drives the other half insane. But yeah, I like the Rajasthan Royals, but the wheels have blown completely. Pulled out for less than 60 on Sunday, so
Sure.
I think they're gone. But it's yeah, interesting that you're a Bangalore man. I just look forward to some fireworks, some good cricket, and some of those stars putting it all together.
Yeah, they've just taken that game. I mean, it's just amazing how long they can hit a ball and how many sixes can be hit in a match, and the scores that they chase down. Well, it is pure entertainment, isn't it? Okay, race number 3. We got some correspondence from Alistair with horse number 3, and let's move along to race number 4. This is over 1,700 meters, and it is a juvenile plate for the fillies. And again, the same like we've mentioned with the 2-year-olds in the previous race, the Colts and Geldings. These fillies will be going ground. Now, betting-wise, let's see how they are. It's very, I'm not going to say tight, but these 2 horses, numbers 4 and 6, are both trading at 3-1. And then number 10, Woodland Glade, is at 12-10. We did work when this filly debuted, the daughter of Flower Alley. We mentioned the pedigree related to Waterbury Lane. So what you saw first time out, was there all the indication in the world that the extra, the better?
Yeah, absolutely, Dees. The kicker with this race, I'll make it a 2-horse race between 6 and 10, and I'm leaning toward the Cox runner, number 10, Woodland Glade, because of how soft My Soulmate was and how much hard number 10 Woodland Glade was. So even though My Soulmate's got any amount of improvement to come, and I expect her to improve, I think that Woodland Glade just has that slight edge for the time being. So I think that they'll run first and second in this race. I also have respect for number 4, Key Element, for what it's worth. Her debut was good where she stayed on. Her second start was also good behind Soldier's Eye. But I think that the other 2 have got a little bit more improvements in them. So yeah, that's how I read this 4th race on the card. My top choice here, number 10, Woodland Glade, who ran behind That's My Baby. They ran, funny enough, 2 days apart. They ran on the same day, Woodland Glade and My Soulmates, and the times suggest that My Soulmate's race was just a shade quicker, and My Soulmate finished less than 2 lengths behind Woodland Glade, whereas Woodland Glade was just over 2 lengths behind. But I just think like I said, the factor that Woodland Glade is just slightly harder for the time being might just swing it in her favour. I'd go both horses in the pick 6 and jackpot 1.
Just for a conversation in race number 4, Alistair, number 4, Key Element, she's a full sister to Quasi for sure, who we saw attempted the distance. I say attempted because there was all the confidence in the world from the stable. Slight concerns, but more confidence on trying to match his pedigree and going as far back as they could in his pedigree. What was your opinion, on Saturday with Kwazi for sure? Because he was a Hollywoodbets Durban July entry, and he had to win there to possibly put his, name in the hat and, possibly get that invite. But I don't know whether it was by design, the tactics, or anything, because there's lots being talked about him in different circles on how he raced. But distance-wise, what was your opinion?
As much as I rate him as a horse, I always have my doubts about him over the trip. It's interesting that you bring that up. Quasi for sure is by Quasillo, and Key Elements is by Ferrari,
Yes.
and they are very, very closely bred.
Yes.
I think that they are half brothers, if I'm not mistaken.
Half brothers. I said full because my eyesight is so bad these days. I actually thought I saw Quasillo because I know the dam, So
Yes.
so I actually thought it's Quasillo. I saw the queue there.
Yeah. Quasillo and Ferrari are also very tight. So yeah, I'd have my doubts about Key Elements. Certainly going from the inside track now to a more galloping track. 100 meters is 100 meters, but I think there will be a little bit of sting over the final 200 meters on the long 1,000-meter straight at the Vaal with number 4 Key Element, if genetics are anything to go by, and if we can rely on my opinion of Quasi for sure just simply being a top miler.
Okay, that's race number 4. That's over 1,700 meters. We'll see if they try to possibly find another race in the next month and a half to possibly try and get him into the race, but all that in the future. Race number 5, 2,400 meters, middle stakes, and this is where the stamina kicks in. Let's have a look at the betting. Number 1 is at 22 to 10, 3 at 22 to 10, 5 King Judy at 5 to 2, and then it's pretty much double figures, the balance. Have they got the right horses here in single figures, Alistair? Are these the known stayers and therefore the betting?
The kicker with this race is that the 3-year-old Good Counsel, despite being a good 3-year-old, has to give so much weight away to these grizzled veterans that have been around the block and won their races and done their bits. So you got to weigh up whether you of the opinion that Good Counsel can carry the weight around. I think he can, but I don't think it'll be all that easy. So my numbers here are 1, 2, 3, and 5, and my jackpot 1, which I have suggested. My top choice would be number 5, Kind Judy, with 50 kilos on her back. She's got to come in with every chance. She, according to the best weighted column, is the best weighted horse in the race. I love how she stayed on the Spook Express last time behind Red Maple. In fact, she gave Red Maple a big fright. Red Maple subsequently won again at handicap level, and I think she's still a step ahead of the handicapper. And Kind Judy's now come down to the right type of place for her to be effective. I know this is not a handicap, but I think it's been a work in progress to sort of get her on the right type of track. So I think the right race has presented itself, and I think that she is the one that they all need to beat, number 5, Khan Judy. And I have a lot of time for number 1, Good Counsel. I like him as a horse. I'm not convinced everything went according to plan. I think the pace was wrong in the South African Derby. I think the draw, I think the fact that he couldn't get to the front, I think it all backfired. And I think coming back to these types of waters, he could be dangerous. Number 2, Out of Your League, I've been watching very closely. Do I think he's ready to win? Not quite yet, but I think he'll run to the first 4. Many forget that he's a Derby winner. He won the South African Derby of his 3-year-old year when he went off at any price and won during COVID when no one was there. And then number 3, Fraud, one of my favourites. He's always done me a favour, so I'm not going to let him run loose with 52 kilos on his back.
Yeah, talking about Out of Your League, it was really nice to see that horse Indian Ocean make her way to KZN and win in the manner that she did. She was strongly fancied by the Matches stable. It was really nice to see her win over the weekend. That was on WSP 1900. The reason I mention her, well, she is from the family of Out of Your League. Well, coming along to race now. One more thing, Alistair. I just had a look at Hollywoodbets. They give us all the updates when it comes to anti-post moves. And number 8, Indian War Prince, that has shortened from 25 to 1 into 16 to 1. Let's move along to race number 6 and what's going to be happening here. Let's see the betting. Number 1, War Empress, 9 to 2. 2 is Trope Veloce at 9 to 2. Then we go on to number 3, Pendragon at 9 to 2. 9, What a Tiger, is 5 to 1. And then one other horse in single figures at the time of recording, that is number 12, Feather the Nest, at 7 to 1. Do we only have to have a look at these horses in single figures? Because by gauging the way they've priced up the fixed odds betting market, 9 to 2 the field, that tells the story.
I've got nearly half the field. I've gone 6 of the 13 in my jackpot, D's. This is an absolute nightmare. My numbers in numerical order are 1, 2, 5, 9, 10, and 12. I'm not going to extol the virtues of all these horses because it's going to be the same hymn sheet. My top choice, though, is number 9, What a Tiger. I like the fact that Kamalo now gets on board, takes over from Apprentice Sasibo, who did nothing wrong last time. I think he needed the run. He ran like he needed the run. He was outrun by a COVID operator who's always good value for it. I think he'll be better with this run under the belt. And I think if everything goes according to plan, number 9, What a Tiger, is good value for money in a wide open race. But any one of about 6 can win this. This is wide open, D's.
Now, wide open. I expected a bit better from number 8, Great Times, last time out, because if you judge him on some of his better runs, he could also be competitive with the claim 2.5 there. We'll see how that one goes. That will be my roughie in the race, number 8, Great Times. Let's move along to race number 7, 1,100 meters the distance. At the time of recording, number 6, a very important scratching here. So I'm not going to read out the betting because I took down the betting when he was priced up at 22 to 10. So there will be adjustments here, Alistair, which I don't have. So with the scratching of number 6, Ready to Change, who was a fluent, gutsy, made a debut winner. What are we doing here? Let's put it this way. Were you in the camp of the 2-year-old in this race prior to the scratching?
I was very warm on him. I wouldn't have made him a good thing because I had a few numbers in my jackpot. Like you, I obviously submitted my numbers before the scratching of number 6, Ready to Charge. And he would have been a soft first choice, but he would have probably been, when I say the highlights of the day, the most interesting runner on the card just to get a gauge of where he is and how good he might be. But sadly, we'll have to wait another day. And it blows an open race even more open. I mean, normally when you get what was the favorite scratched, it can simplify a race. I don't think it simplifies this race at all. So I'm left now with 2, 4, 5, and 8. As my numbers. I heard a word about number 4, Pinch at Turfentine on Sunday, for what it's worth. I think that he's expected to go quite well, the son of William Longsword, and you can make a pretty good case for him. I like how he ran behind the Mauritian last time out. There's already been a winner out of that form, a good winner as well, who ran well behind Pinchot. He could be in the right place to strike. He's a model of consistency. And what did the handicapper do? Gave him £1 for being a loser last time. Hopefully that doesn't set him back if you do fancy number 4, Pinchot. But as far as the word is concerned, he's expected to go quite well. The other numbers here, number 5, Siberian Steel, now with Tony Peter, first run for Tony. He won a fairly weak race at his penultimate start, but still it was good the way that he knuckled down and got the better of them. Obviously, the run to Godswood 47 days ago now looks a lot better because Godswood won a far stronger race than this about 10 days ago. So number 5, Siberian Steel, has to be on the radar as well. Number 2, Houston, I think he'll be properly ready when he goes 1,400 meters, but he's a nice horse and he's turned the corner work-wise. So number 2, Houston's got more than just a little place chance. And then the other horse is number 8, Black Egret, who I know has a couple of issues, but I know that he's also held in high regard. So I'd be annoyed if he did something in the penultimate race on the card and I was without him.
So you have some time when we go to your bets at the end of the show to possibly make that change, Alistair, if you've included number 6, Ready to Change. So we'll await any changes with Alistair's suggested bet for our race meeting at the Vaal. Race number 8 is over 1,400 meters, and this is where we close things off. It's the 25th of May, middle stakes, Tuesday the 25th. The next Vaal race meeting, that's what it says. Next Vaal race meeting is the 25th of May. Okay, this is over 1,400 meters. How are they betting here? Number 1, Duke of Sussex at 5 to 1. Then we move along to number 4, Willow Express. That's an 8 to 1 shot. I hope I took this right because this doesn't look to be right. It is right. Number 12, Zion the Conqueror, is at 5 to 1. 12, Kinky Boost is at 7 to 1. And 15, Caliber Crest is at 11 to 2. I'm going to take a big, bold chance here in the place accumulator because some may think that, you possibly need to load up. I like this horse, Zion the Conqueror, for Corne Spies, and I like the horse a lot. I was actually thinking about possibly taking a chance and maybe banker this horse in one of my perms. I say one of my perms, not necessarily the pick 6. It could be the last pick 3 on the card. It could be the second jackpot. So, is it off-putting to be this bold with a horse like this against this company, or could it be the case that 5-1 represents a lot of value?
I was hoping this was the only horse we weren't going to talk about. It's amazing how we've shot for the stars and ended up on the different side of the atmosphere. The reason why I was hoping we weren't going to talk about Kian the Conqueror is because he has got Stormy Winter absolutely stone cold at the weights, and I like Stormy Winter, but I think Kian the Conqueror is a brass. This will be a test whether he's a brass or not. I think he'll run a good race again, but my opinion is that he'll ultimately fall short again. He's got a great turn of foot, which he showed first time out, and I think he got the job done there more out of fright than flight, to be honest. And ever since he's run the same type of race, except for his anti-penultimate start, where he was just totally off colour when he was all the rage. But he turns it on in such good style and just doesn't want to go past those last couple of horses at the end. That's how I read number 12 here on the Conqueror. So at the weights, if I like number 10 Stormy Winter, then I've got to like number 12 here on the Conqueror. I think he'll be in the first 4, but I'm not convinced he'll win. So I hope I haven't put the fear of God into you.
No.
My top choice here is number 1, Duke of Sussex D's. I know he's got a lot of weight on his back, but he won the World Sportsman Grand Heritage over a very similar distance at this course when beating Dice. And I spoke to Lucky after his last start when I really liked him, and he said he was just not quite 100% fit. He just took a little bit of not a setback, that wasn't the word that Lucky used, but just wasn't quite popping the way that Lucky wanted him, and he was so happy with the run behind Running Rifle. So with that in mind, I think that he's probably set up now to win number 1, Duke of Sussex. He's earned the weight. He absolutely loves it, the Vaal, whether it's the classic track or whether it's the original course. He runs his race. He's a real honest horse. He doesn't like turpentine too much. So all of those runs at turpentine, take them out, and you've actually got a horse that just looks like he's going to win. Dangers here. Number 4, Willow Express has got to be a chance. 6, Bard of Avon is always on my radar. One of these days is going to get it right. I'm not going to give up on him until he wins, although I think that he's not going to win here. And then number 10, Stormy Winter, and 12, Kian the Conqueror. And also a mention for number 15, Caliber Crest. He's got a lot more to beat than what he beat last time. But for him to come out 9 months apart after his penultimate run and win the way he did off top weight, that's a tip of the hat to Joey Serme. He's got an above-average horse in the form of Caliber Crest. I'll be interested to see how he goes against these types of hard. This is pretty much the Grand Heritage field.
Yeah, and this spells quartet to me. Race number 8, you get the quartet, you'll get proper money because it's a field, and a big field of 16 at the time of recording. And what are they betting? I told you it was 5-1 the field. All the best here, race number 8, whatever bet you're taking. Hopefully things fall into place. Alistair, your suggested bet, and if you want to make a change there after the scratching, of course, of Mike and Adam Azzi's runner in race number 7, please do so.
I think I'll just reduce the perm in that final leg, Deeds. I think I've got the winner among 4 horses in a field of 8. So first leg, which is the first jackpots, 10 past 2, race 4. I've gone 6 and 10 in the first leg. So those, of course, are my soulmates in Woodland Glade. By 1, 2, 3, and 5 in the Thayers race, a Good Counsel, Out of Your League, Afraid, and Kind Judy. A lot of horses in race number 6. 1, 2, 5, 9, 10, and 12 in race number 6, the penultimate leg of the jackpot. If you can afford a few more, don't be afraid. And then the final leg, I'm obviously going to eliminate number 6, who's the scratching, and go with number 2, Houston, number 4, Pinch It, 5, Siberian Steel, and number 8, Black Eagles. I think I'm good there.
2, 4, 5, and 8 in that final leg, so that will cost you. That is 192 Rand if you eliminate horse number 6 there. I'm watching the slide. 6 and 10 by 1, 2, 3, and 5 by 1, 2, 5, 9, 10, and 12 by 2, 4, 5, and 8. I like the perm. I think the jackpot, if you get the right numbers coming through in the respective races, 192 Rand, you'll make a profit on that. Alistair, thank you so much for your time and your input on the show, and all the best if you're racing on Tuesday at the Vaal.
Shot D's, really appreciate it. I won't be there on Tuesday, but Yep, I'll definitely be tuned in and following everything that goes on. So, viewers, I hope that it's a great week ahead.
Yes, it is. Thanks to Alistair Cohen on behalf of the Gallop TV team and myself, Dees Diner, and have a great day if you're racing on Tuesday the 16th at the Vaal. Find all the winners, make a huge profit, have a blast, and until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gasle.